Do I want to try what
Do I
again?
want to
Sorry.
try what again? Sorry.
Perfect. So now I can hear you.
Perfect. All right. Well, just
Uh,
testing it out. So I think that's the case that we have to apply.
Yeah. So for everyone who's waiting, if you guys can just do the apply for audio and video.
Very good. A little bit sleepy here from Japan. A little bit sleepy at the moment, but
Well, thank you for being with us. Very much enjoyed your contribution to the panel. So looking forward to diving a bit deeper now.
yep.
Edward, are you also on the call? Okay, so maybe what I'll just say is for everyone who is on the call, if you guys can hear me, if you can just request audio and video, and then I'll give you permission so that you guys can have the conversation. Perfect. So in the meanwhile, UK, it looks like it's going to be us while everyone else joins. So we can maybe start on our side. So great. So yeah, it was great to hear more about what your organization did on the panel. I don't know if you've heard of us before, Fintech Cadence.
Not quite. Do you mind repeating what Fintech?
Yeah, actually, it's a pleasure. I saw your name on the list in the beginning, and I highlighted you as somebody I really wanted to speak with as well. So it's great to see we're doing something similar to what you guys are doing in Japan, but here in Montreal. So our organization's name is Fintech Cadence, and we're really focusing on fostering the fintech ecosystem from a grassroots level. And so there's a lot, we focus on really three main pillars. It seems like everyone in the panel today has three pillars to their organization. So very similar to us, we focus on education around fintech. We focus on supporting and building fintech startups from early stage. We really where our focus is early stage, so the creation part up until pre-series A. And then the last element is around collaboration. So we work with financial institutions, whether the banks or organizations, to sync up with the other two pillars, but most importantly, to foster innovations internally, and then to link them up with the startups as well. So it's what we've been doing for 5 years now, and really from the early stages of fintech in Montreal and probably in Canada as well.
Wow. Yeah. Well, when you say education, is that educating who? Educating the normal audiences, or educating startups to bring the next level?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to answer that question, but before I do, I see there's a few people I've just given permission to join. So if you guys are just joining us, you can, to be able to contribute to the conversation, if you just request audio and video, then I'll be able to give you access to the session, and you'll be able to come in and be part of the conversation, not just spectators as well. So yeah, Yuki, back to your question, we focus on anyone actually. So the idea is really understanding fintech in the general terms, and we touch on different verticals. But if you're a university student, if you're a professional working in, like I said, a financial institution, if you're an entrepreneur that just wants to be able to build a better fintech product, the educational pillar doesn't focus on educating startups specifically to take them from one milestone to the other. However, in our support pillar, that's exactly what we do. So we really are either through open innovation competitions and programs, or through an acceleration program we have called the Ascension program that we actually just closed last week, I think it was, Nick, if I'm not mistaken.
2 weeks ago now.
2 weeks ago, right. So actually, let me also introduce Nick to the call too, since he's here. So Nick is the head of marketing for our organization.
Okay, wow. Hi, Nick.
How you doing?
Very good. Yourself?
Very good, very good. What time is it in Japan, by the way?
Good question. It's 3 a.m. in the morning.
Oh. So either you're waking up or you haven't gone to bed yet.
I took a nap before this, so I'm pretty fresh now. I had a coffee. Okay.
Great. So Alejandro, thank you for joining. I'm trying to let everybody else join as well. So I see there's quite a few people on the list. So if you guys are in the fintech circle, if you just
it would be like Edward should be able to join here. Edward Chan, let me see how it works, because to be honest, this is also new to me. Edward, if you're looking at it, you are supposed to be able to ask to be in, and then once you request to be in, we can see you here and we can accept you in. Sorry, I just joined it just to check if everything was okay. Just to say hi. Thank you, Yuki, for staying up this late.
Yeah, don't worry. It's pretty enjoyable. I mean, and unless there's a COVID-19, I mean, even for us, we usually have events. I mean, of course, it's be on a face-to-face, like physically be there. But this situation has really also like enabled us for me to participate event in Montreal, in Canada. That's amazing.
We can continue doing it, and I'll leave you in good hands. Layal and Nicolas, they're really good at what they do, the Fintech. And I will check how Edward can join you. But I'm hoping he can join this conversation because he's an expert on Fintech as well.
Excellent.
Awesome. Thanks, Alejandro.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Louis, I see that you're on the chat as well again. So I don't know if you guys are choosing to keep your audio and video, but just to make sure that we have a great conversation with everybody here, I think it would be great if you guys just request access again, like Alejandro was saying, to the video and the audio. And then you guys can also ask questions and interact with people.
It should be right here where I'm pointing, I believe, on your screen. Request to join. You just click that, and then you just have to accept your video and mic, and then we'd have more people in the chat. I think we could be up to 20 people in this conversation, so it'd be fun to have more people.
Perfect. Yes, Louis, welcome.
Oh,
can you hear us?
Or your mic is not connected.
Great. Oh.
All right.
Perfect, Louis. Let's
okay, is it working now?
Yes.
Working now.
Yeah. So welcome, Louis. Do you want to, I mean, we know you very well, but do you want to introduce yourself to Yuki as well?
Yes, please.
Hello, Yuki. So I'm Louis Clérou. I'm founder of TimeChain. And basically, we're building a messaging application to enable users to send money internationally. And we we make it compliant on both ends. So whenever someone is in Japan and send money to Canada, then it would be compliant in Japan and also in Canada for the receiving address.
Wow. Are you guys doing it on the blockchain or?
Yeah, we use Ripple for the settlements.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
That's great. And Louis, have you looked at Japan in the Japanese market yet or not yet?
I'm a big fan of Japan. I spend almost a year, each time 3 months.
Oh, wow.
I spend most of my time in Tokyo.
Excellent.
Yeah. Big fan of Shinjuku.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, the next time you're here, let's check out. Yeah, more than happy.
Yeah, sure.
That's cool.
Which part of
Tokyo.
town are you?
Shinjuku is also pretty nearby my neighborhood, so that's good to know. Are you usually here for business or?
Yeah, both. Always like to mix business and pleasure together.
Excellent. I mean, so I believe that from blockchain perspective, maybe from your perspective, do you see the blockchain industry or blockchain ecosystem is more advanced in Montreal or in Canada, or is it more in, let's say, Japan or elsewhere? Wonder.
So Japan has definitely an advance on Canada because I started TimeChain to think about it in 2015. And back then it was like war against crypto, legit. And I got my license in 2019 after spending a year, talking with regulators and everything. And at the time I incorporated my company in Singapore because the laws in Singapore was more relevant. And, and I spent some time also at Liquid Exchange near the Tokyo station. So so in the beginning we were doing business with them, and them also they were incorporated in Singapore for the ICOs, and even though it's a Japanese entity.
Oh, that's good to know. Wow. Interesting.
And what about you?
Me,
What do you do?
So from my perspective, I work more doing similar to what Fintech Cadence is doing. So we are helping startups to get connected with large Japanese FIs or even non-FIs, but also looking for fintech startups. That's where we step in and to get connected. And we plug and play. So we are headquartered in Silicon Valley, and we have offices around the globe. About I think 30 to 40 offices at the moment globally. So we are, in a way, introducing startups from locally to get to the other global offices at the moment. So we
Okay. What's the name of the incubator? What's the name of your incubator? Oh, Plug and Play. Yes. I met the Plug and Play in Singapore.
We do work very closely with them, and we work very closely with other offices. So I think probably if I Google your name, we do have database that's standardized database. So I believe that if I type in your name, time chain, we should be able to find you on that stuff.
Yeah, probably. It's I love Plug and Play. Like the founder of Plug and Play is like a genius. Like legit. So basically, he gets the money from the big businesses, to get the funding, because for them it's to have access to new tech, and then they fund the startups that have no cash, right? With that money. So
yeah, I mean,
it's
the
perfect.
founder, he's always telling us that he's the first one who actually incubated Google. So Google, they started, they started, I think, one of the founders' garage. But first office that they moved in happened to be our founder's real estate. And so basically they started with 3 people. When they came to our founder's office, there were 3. So from 3 to 40, they were staying in our office. But after beyond 40, they just moved on and together. And speaking of fintech, Lending Club, PayPal, those companies, luckily we happen to be the first investor. I mean, they're basically the similar thing for PayPal. Peter Thiel, when he and the other co-founder was doing stuff by themselves, found our Saeed with our founder. He happened to get connected with Peter Thiel, and they used our office. So instead of them paying us the rent, they get free rent, but we got some of the equities. So that's how we did that kind of deal. And then luckily we got that. The PayPal they grew exponentially, and then we got good tons of returns out of it.
And where's the office in Tokyo?
Shibuya. Shibuya is. Yes.
Oh, Shibuya
is known to be the more like IT hub in Japan at the moment. Like Google Japan's HQ is based in Shibuya. Other Japanese tech firms are based in Shibuya. So it's more like, it's not as big as Silicon Valley and other cluster, but at least in Japan it's pretty huge.
Yeah, my favorite ramen place is in Shibuya.
Don't talk about ramen. All the restaurants here are closed, and it's missing that.
And I tried so many times, like so many ramen places.
Wait, actually, in this session, are we supposed to? Is it okay to talk like this, or are we supposed to talk
well, actually, I did. Well, maybe we'll move it away from the ramen now that it's come to that conversation. But it's actually interesting. Yeah. Louis was a student in one of our certificate programs that we just finished. The interesting part is we had the organization Tokyo Fintech come in and do a presentation. Okay, are you familiar with them? Do you guys work with them? What's the relationship you have with them?
Fintech. Are you talking to the guy with Norbert?
Norbert, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's very. I mean, in Japan, the fintech ecosystem it's not small, but everyone knows each other. And we work, I personally work very closely with Norbert. About a month or 2 months ago, he does his own podcast, and I was there speaking with him. So, yes, I know Norbert very well, yes.
Yeah, I know he did a really great presentation, actually. It was very thorough. It was very informative about the Japan fintech ecosystem. it was really nice to have him come in and show to those who are participants taking part of the certificate, to show them what the fintech ecosystem looks like globally.
Yeah.
So no, it's really interesting to see that. And from your side, I know you mentioned it a bit earlier, but maybe for the people who are listening as well, your focus right now with the fintech ecosystem, I'm guessing, of course, with COVID, is to support the startups. And I'm sorry if it was you or somebody else who was talking about the improvement of cash flow overall. Is that really what you guys are focusing on at the moment, or what are your challenges that you're facing right now in Tokyo?
Good question. So at the moment, I look after in Plug and Play. We have different themes, different verticals, and I look after fintech as well as retail tech. So those are two areas that I manage at the moment. Speaking of fintech, the challenges are. A few challenges, of course, after this COVID-19 situations. One of which is, of course, that in Japan, there's still strong mindset, especially from the corporate side, the large institution side, that everything has to be on a face-to-face. Online meeting is nonsense. We have to sit down together in the same room and that's where we can have discussion in depth. Those are the mentalities that are still ongoing, unfortunately, at the moment, especially in these large organizations. So from a startup perspective, that's really slowing down the collaborations, the initiatives with the corporates. So that's one of the sort of very short-term challenges that I hear from the startups, as well as, of course, for the cash flow perspective. Some of the startups who actually raised capital in the last few months, that's fine. They still have a year or two, about a year runway. But for other startups who are thinking to raise capital in the coming month or two, then they are really struggling. In Japan, one I think difference compared to other countries or other regions, that in Japan we do have very strong corporate venture capital people. So unlike the US, they have independent boutique venture capital, and those are the ones actually pouring money. But in Japan, it's more like the money is coming from the corporate side. The corporate, they have their own venture VC arms, and that's where I don't have the exact stats, but that's the main source of the money for the startup perspective. So like this COVID-19 situation, yes, like these corporates, some of them are really hardly hit by the situation, and then due to that, they're really tightening their sort of wallet. They don't really have a room to use that into this startup ecosystems. So that's another challenge from the capital fundraising perspective from the startups. Yeah. So those two are the main things. Yes, go ahead.
I think Lael just she's texting me their internet dropped out, so she was asking a question, but she didn't get to hear the full answer, and I don't know if I have the same functionalities as she did. I'm just going to look here. So if Andy or Alejandro, if you guys are listening backstage. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Welcome back.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. Yeah, so what did I say? So one is the money is only coming from corporate venture capital. So given the situation, the corporates are really, at the moment, stepping back from investing into startups. So that's another challenge that I see at the moment. How is the situation over there in Canada? Is it the same, or do you see different trends and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's quite different. And like, what's great is like you have an ecosystem player such as myself and Nick, and then you have a startup that's living through it from Louis' perspective. So it'll be interesting to see what Louis says and if he agrees with the perspective we have. For us, what we've seen, so the corporates actually kind of dried up quite a lot, and which is very natural for Canada. We're a conservative business culture in general. And especially when it comes to funding and financing, we're nowhere near, I mean, I forget all the stats, but we're nowhere near the amount of funding that the US will give from a corporate side or an investment side. Yeah, we're very, very traditional in that sense. Our VCs are traditional, so supposedly our most aggressive industry should be the most, thing, but we're still very conservative. So with that approach and with what's happening now in COVID, they've become even more conservative. So we've seen, even though financial institutions are still looking at and understand the importance of innovation, if you will, right now, they're still very, very, very traditional. So you have the innovation teams that are going forward, and then you have the budget teams who are closing and covering their budgets. I mean, I think that's very common and very normal. So we're seeing that. What we're seeing move a lot quicker, and surprisingly, but to the advantage, is the government. So the government's trying to put out as much capital as possible right now. They're trying to, in their immediate action was just give out capital so that these businesses don't shut down. And we don't have a flow of companies shutting down. And then the next step for them, which is the stage we're really seeing right now, is, okay, how do we support or finance the organizations such as ourselves that are going to also help these companies who can maybe do better auditing, or who can maybe have a better idea of the reality, or who can say, these companies won't be doing well anyways. Let's focus on the financing or the capital where they will be doing. So in that side of things, I think maybe I'll speak here on my behalf so I don't put words in anyone else's mouth, but I think the government's been doing a great job. Mobilizing quickly, moving fast decisions, fast implementation, seamless process there. We'll see how long that goes on. And then, of course, the next layer will be all of the auditing of all of this capital that's been sent out, just to make sure everything is clear and transparent. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, so we've seen corporations slow down. We've seen government speed up. We've seen different verticals excel as well. So the insurance vertical, for example, has been doing, all of the startups that we work with that are in the insurance sector have been doing phenomenal.
Wow. Why do you think it is the case for Insurtech or insurance company?
Yeah, I think because there's a lot of people, just consumers or Canadians in general, that now are worried about a lot of different things. And I think when there's fear, it mobilizes different products or different businesses in that sense. So, people who are worried about their properties, people who are worried about their health, people who are worried about their family's health. So all of these different elements of insurance is now, they're either making sure they have it and they're covered. They're like, I'm not sure actually what's going to happen, so let me make sure I'm covered. Or they just want to understand their policy better because they're like, okay, we have a policy, but is it the right policy? What does it mean? I signed a paper 5 years ago, but is it now? I'm going to lose my job. Is that something that you get covered for? Is that unemployment? Is that insurance? So you're seeing a lot of conversation around that, and with a lot of conversation comes a lot of actions, and so that's what we're seeing. But I'm curious, Louis, from your side, if you think that's been the case or not.
Definitely, I think I share the same sentiment as you. One of the key points that I noticed is that so there's a theory that every 30 days, when you start a new habit, then it becomes an habit after 30 days. And I can definitely notice on social media that people are used to work from home. From now on, it's done. The transition is completed. So what I think is that, Fintech, anything that's related to digital work, massive opportunity. Slack, Zoom, and recently Zoom acquired Keybase, which is a blockchain communication app. So definitely you can see that privacy also is one of the main concerns. Government working with Apple and Google to monitor, cell phones and everything. So there's definitely some issues for privacy that we will see from more and more in the future. So there's definitely opportunities for startups to manage those, opportunities and make sure to capitalize on it.
Wow.
How about for your side? I mean, sorry, Nick, I'll give you a chance in case you want to add anything we haven't added. Yuki, how about from your side? Have you seen different verticals kind of shine through, or has it been consistent throughout?
Yeah, I mean, Japan, we started doing lockdown situations since I think beginning of April. So in terms of impact-wise, we haven't had much like big transition. Of course, I mean, work from home, work remotely. That's something that, as I think Louise just mentioned, I think after 30 days, people have realized that it is workable. And even for me, initially, I was pretty skeptical that will it really work? Will it become a new standard, new norm? But it has actually. I mean, it does really work. So I think based on this new environment, I think that's now, even for the startup, they're really thinking about their next step at the moment. So, to answer your questions, we haven't really seen the material change in terms of like startups, like a subsector of a fintech doing better than the other. That's not yet seen, but I think from Japan, speaking of Japan fintech or in general perspective, I think at the moment the cash is still very king before COVID-19. And then, of course, when we say cash, it's really physical paper cash or coins. That's what I'm talking about. But after this, there will be, I think, strong movement or transition to like online or like non how do you call it? Or more digital payment, including and it could be digital wallet or of course the credit card, those kind of Apple Pay or Google Pay or anything other whatever pays. I think those are will be shifting more. And then even the government in Japan, they have mentioned it about a year or two ago that they like to push this cashless society. I don't know, 40% cashless by the end of next 5 years. But I think that 40% target will be most likely be met. It will be accelerated a year or two. Thanks to these situations. So that'll be, I think, one big change that we'll be seeing, due to this environment.
Absolutely. And that's something that I'm really very interested in. Unfortunately, I do have to step out to a meeting, but I have both my colleagues, Nick and Neil, here on the call. So if you're listening, again, just a reminder, I've seen some of you guys just came into the session. Please request your audio and video. For everyone else, Nick, Neil, Louis, and Yuki will still be here for the next little bit until we're told by the organizers that we have to leave.
I have to leave as well, unfortunately. I think that it's slightly delayed and so I have to go. But sorry guys, it's great catching up with you, and let's get connected via LinkedIn or whatever.
Perfect. I'd love to continue the conversation you can do so.
All right.
Good night.
Take care. Have a good night.
Thank you, Nick, for covering.
Yeah, of course. So now we're down to 3. And I don't know how many people are watching this, and now it's just a Montreal conversation. But Neil, maybe you could share what your experience for this virtual event has been so far.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think the Hop-In platform is a little bit new, so there are some glitches here and there. But the content's been fantastic. The panels have been really dynamic. I love the fact that they're actually shorter. In some ways, you're really quite charged with information, so they come, fast and furious with their talks. Same thing with the networking; you only have 2 minutes to talk to people. So, I think there's a really good way for everyone to see the ecosystem quickly and concisely, which is unique. Most webinars are passive, and you're not engaged, and you're not talking to others. So, yeah, the whole interaction part has been really good. How about you guys?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a neat platform. So I think this is a first for a lot of people using Hop, and I know others some have used in the past, but versus a big complicated Zoom call, this is interesting because the functionalities. I was curious if I could go click on another tab now, like networking, or if it's going to cut me out of this video.
Yeah. We could try. I have 2 screens open now, and I've been trying to go back and forth between different sessions.
It's literally just us 3 now in this meeting. It is being recorded, however. I don't know if they're going to share this afterwards.
Yeah.
Let me just see. If I'm just going to try out of curiosity, I'm going to click networking now. Oh, okay. Then it prompts me, do you want to leave? And it'll stop the broadcasting. Okay. But okay. Sorry.
How was your feeling after organizing the monitoring the national bank event? What were you thinking? Are you happy with the result?
Super happy with the result. It was way more work than could have imagined, just in dry runs, and there was a whole technical team helping us behind the scenes to make it happen. Well, just very cool that it finally, came to a grand conclusion, even though it was online. I wonder how it would have been in a format like this, where there could have been networking as well. There's a lot of familiar faces I know who were on the call, but comparing it to our Ascension demo day, where there was the chat functionality and people were engaging, I feel that would have been something that could have been nice to have. Just get everybody participating in one way, and that's a big problem with online events. It's hard to meet and connect with new people. But I'm seeing that there is the possibility of doing it. It still exists, and it's crazy. We're just chatting with somebody it's 3 a.m. in Japan, and just met Yuki. I find that that's super cool. No. Overall, the National Bank event was awesome. You tuned in and watched it?
Yeah, it was amazing. I think you did a great job. Also, I was happy Aquantix got the prize, but I was cheering for Wumi. To be honest, she did. Her presentation was amazing. I was like, wow, so nice.
For who?
And Wumi, Huli.
Which startup?
She was also part of Fintech Cadence last year.
With Wallow?
Oh, yeah.
Wallow,
Rim.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, Rim, exactly.
Yeah, she had a great pitch.
She liked her presentation and everything, but I think the social aspect made the difference with the judges.
Yeah.
And also, I think they're quite advanced in terms of like their platform. So for integration, it makes sense because they have like a huge technical team. So I think there's also that as part of the decision too. I mean, if they were going to do some sort of, besides the prize, I'm assuming there's collaborations afterwards. So that integration would be pretty key. It's actually really impressive, and they did it in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I heard of it.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Steven built in with the dev team in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's really impressive. So should we wait for someone to join us, or maybe we could do a shout out in the chat?
I think people are starting to leave.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the end.
I think people are going to be in the...
Hello, viewer. We're at 4.
Oh, here. Oh.
It's like maybe I have to...
Hey, I'm just jumping from one place to another.
Emily.
I'm part of the organization. Salut, ça va?
Nice.
Oui, salut.
Okay, so how did you guys feel about the event?
It was cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, first time I think for everybody on Hopin.
Yeah.
We've had some other online events
It's true, right?
with Zoom and...
It's not familiar.
But
platform, you're right.
Yeah, but no, it's cool. We're just chatting with Yuki from Japan here.
Right,
He
hi.
just had to leave because it's like 3:30 a.m. But it's cool that you guys are able to bring people from across the globe.
Yeah, totally. From all over the world, I see like people from
Yeah.
France, Germany, Boston. It's pretty cool. I'll let you guys keep chatting. I have to jump from one to the other to just hop in and see a few things. Thanks for joining us, and stay tuned. There are going to be some more events like that coming up.
Awesome.
Parfait, merci Amélie.
Okay, merci.
Thank
Salut.
you.
Ciao.
Bye. All right.
Worth going to the networking session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're...
Is there a time we need to stay in that channel, or?
I don't think so.
Yeah. If you want to take turns, I don't mind manning it for a little bit. If you want to do like a couple of networking sessions, and then you can take turns on that.
But if it's just one person, I don't know how engaging it's
Yeah.
gonna be.
It's not the best, We live together.
Well, we could just chat together. How are things going with you, Louis?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, there's so many opportunities right now, also with different partners and everywhere. Like a lot of people are trying to restructure.
Right.
So
yeah, well, it's a good time if you're able to capitalize on it, right? And I think you're a new company and you're scaling quickly, which is great. So it's glad to hear. We have one person who's viewing.
And they have left.
Okay.
yeah, I think that the fact that you could be called at any time maybe scared some people. Like I was not expecting to go on the recording.
Yeah, and it doesn't let
didn't
you.
think so.
It doesn't let you. I mean, I tried to do it with my computer which only has a microphone, and it won't let you. So you have to have video and microphone to be able to participate.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's funny. I've been doing Zoom meetings like on a daily basis now. Like all my meetings always Zoom. Like my Google Calendar is filled with Zoom.
Yeah, me too. My entire week is booked with meetings, and it's great. I don't think I was able to do that before. I was coffee chats would take like 2 hours, right? Because you have to walk to the place, you have to meet the person, then you have a 45-minute talk. By the time you get back to the office, I mean, it's like a 2-hour meeting. But we can have like 10, 30-minute ones in a week, no problem.
Yeah, I'm so curious to see how this pans out, mid-summer, and because I think remote work is not going anywhere. It's at least in Montreal, at least till the end of the year.
Yeah, I agree. We've had, I mean, I know for universities as well. I mean, they've all extended their remote portion of it into the fall. Everyone is it's a new reality, and I think it's almost, I mean, if we can beat the virus itself, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad reality as long as we have the choice to be able to go out. I guess some people prefer to be in office or not, or at least, if we have the choice, and companies are seeing that now the choice doesn't mean a sacrifice in terms of productivity. I mean, I would opt for it. I think it makes sense.
I'm wondering, and there's definitely going to be studies about the productivity. Because there's a lot of people that say, working from home now, there's no time. Like this morning, I realize I'm way more efficient in the morning. So I woke up at 6 and I'm like, I'm going to the office. So I just went from my bedroom to here. And, I started super early, but I got so much done. And I was just in my, house coat, my cup of coffee. And so I'm going, end earlier, and it just worked out perfectly. I didn't need to commute. I didn't need to.
Yeah, exactly. It makes a big difference in terms of the time you save. I mean, because I would, if I were to wake up at 6 on normal, I would actually be in the office barely on time, right? Because it's just, I wouldn't be any more productive.
No, sure.
No, I think last time I was at.
What do you miss most about past before COVID? Like coffee shop, restaurants, park.
I definitely miss having a good fresh burger and like going out to a restaurant. Like I really want a burger right now. I mean, we cook at home and it's fine, but it's not the same. Like I just want like that greasy spoon. Casse-coute, horrible for your health. Dine out.
Which place is your?
Oh man, but we were right next to Belle in the Boeuf. I mean, it was because we're in Concordia, so there's so many options downtown. Bob for like a really good sandwich. Oh man.
Yeah, I went by Concordia for the first time since the lockdown this weekend. Because I rented a car to go pick up my brother, and we both had our masks, and to go see my mom and just like drop off a bottle of wine for 2 bottles of wine for Mother's Day.
Nice.
But so it was the first time by Concordia, and I think that's for me like just not necessarily going to District 3, but just all the restaurants that were in the neighborhood, and like every lunch, just okay, what's the restaurant today? But I think it's food. I think it's mostly like food, but and then obviously like the social aspect of being able to go, hang out with a friend in person.
Yeah.
I think it's still manageable for a lot of people. 2 months in is not bad. Like I don't particularly miss. It's more food, but I think after a while, we're all going to want to do in-person gatherings.
Yeah. How about you, Louis?
I wonder if they will allow it, like house parties and gathering inside.
Good question.
Like,
Eventually, but
I don't know what's the next thing.
in a month or two, probably small ones at least.
Anyway, well, I'm gonna go to network sessions, I think.
Yeah, I think we could close this one. But nice to see you, Louis. Nice to see you, Anil. Nice hanging out with you. And for everybody watching, thanks so much for tuning in to this FinTech conversation. Check out fintechcadence.com. And we have the Formathon coming up May 28th. Make sure you check that out if you're in Montreal or across Canada, if you're interested in participating. So on that note, have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.